Hi all, Chris here again with one of my, I guess you could call it Chrisisms, my opinion about certain things. This time it's what's wrong with education today. I haven't been a teacher for too terribly long, but from what I've seen, I can tell you some things. So I am not a certified teacher. I did not get the state certificate in order to teach. Therefore, I can teach in charter schools. I can teach in private schools. I can teach anywhere that doesn't require the stupid state certification, which I call it stupid because what is the purpose? There's really no point to it other than the state gets some money out of people's pockets for getting the certification. It does nothing to prove anything. I mean, I have had in the past English teachers, and I have seen English teachers who can't spell to save their lives. So what's that state certification saying about them? It says they're qualified to teach. Are they? If you can't spell and you're teaching English, are you really qualified? My opinion there. The pointless meetings and the paperwork that are involved with being a teacher, it's ridiculous. I think the whole administration portion of teaching is bloated and unnecessary. I mean, you need a principal, you probably need a vice principal, a disciplinarian person, and your school secretary. A registrar could be part of the secretary part, or it could be a different person. Don't know. I'm just saying it seems like they have a whole lot more people involved than really need to be, from what I've seen. Then they have these pointless meetings because the state requires such and such, so you have to prove that you're doing this and that, and it's all just a bunch of crap. You don't really need to do any of that. I mean, if a student is making good grades, that speaks for itself. If the student is not making good grades, then maybe you need to figure out why that is, and do something about it. But just to do paperwork just for the sake of doing paperwork is just ridiculous. Then we come to the special education department. I don't know what they're calling it now. They go through all kinds of different names because of this whole stupid political correctness crap. You can't call them special ed anymore. You have to call them exceptional students. Well, I'm sorry, but exceptional means like a person who's above and beyond what you would expect, not someone who needs extra help. And I'm not saying that to be insulting to a special ed student because, if you need special extra help, you need help. That's nothing wrong with that. And people need to start to realize that there's nothing wrong with the word disabled. There's nothing wrong with the word handicapped. There's nothing wrong with any of that. Just blow that stuff out of your brain because people have just made it stupid. Okay. Anyway, as far as special ed goes, I believe that special education students need to be in their own school, separated from the other students, because to put special education students, you've got Johnny over here who needs help because he's dyslexic. You've got Susie over there who needs help because she can't do math. There's something preventing her from doing math. And Jerry is over here and he can't he can't think spatially or something. I don't know what all types of things, categories they have there, but the point is you've got different students with different needs all in the same class, and one teacher who is supposed to teach all the kids one way and teach each of these kids with their special needs different ways to help them differently. Now explain to me, how is one teacher supposed to be able to do all of that in the course of, let's say it's a 50-minute class? How are you supposed to do that? You can't. This is why students struggle, because you cannot meet those kinds of needs. And teachers are given thick stacks of paperwork on these special education students, and there's hoops they have to jump through, accommodations they have to give, and A general education teacher cannot keep track of all that. So basically, if a parent really wants your kid to receive special treatment, then that kid should be in a special school, not lumped in with everybody else. And I'm not saying that like, ooh, segregation in that way. It simply doesn't work. It does not work to have these kids all in the same classroom with students who don't need these special accommodations. That or the special education teacher should be the one giving them those accommodations and helping them. Para-educators, or whatever they call them. There's paras for short. They can come in and they could work with those students in the class with the general education students. And that would work with them knowing what they're doing. But you cannot put all that stuff on a general education teacher. It just doesn't work. Now we have what they call 504s. Those are students who, they're not special education students, but they're students who have for some reason, they get special accommodations that other students don't get, which I think is utterly ridiculous and unfair to the other students. Because, and I will quote you here, let the child listen to music to relax them. I think we could all use some relaxation, you know. Let the student go to the counselor as needed. Well, that's true of any student. If a student wants to go talk to the counselor, you let them go to the counselor. Why do they need a special 504 program for that? Provide a quiet space for the child. There's no quiet space in the classroom. There's none. They would have to leave the classroom and go somewhere else, which they can do that, but come on. And then check in with the child to ensure understanding. Well, a teacher should be checking in with all the kids to ensure their understanding. So why is that a special thing? It doesn't make any sense to me. Those are normal for every child. I just think it's full of a lot of pointless things. And before you know it, and you just watch, unless things change now that President Trump is revamping everything, it's going to come to the point where every child is going to have special needs, special accommodations, every single child. And then what are teachers supposed to do? I'm just glad that I'm not going to be teaching much longer, because I wouldn't want to put up with that. And it would drive me insane trying to accommodate everybody. I love the kids that I've taught. Absolutely adore them. It's not the kids. The kids are not the problem. The administration is the problem. And I've said that ever since I started teaching. The kids are great. Even though they make you crazy sometimes, I mean, you know where you stand with them, you know? But administration, it's like, what can we do to make your life miserable today? Oh, anyway, those are my thoughts on education. So I'm hoping things will reform soon, for the sake of the kids, because I feel like they're just coming out of school more confused than they were going in, and that's just not right. But anyway, I will talk to you later with another rant, I guess you could call it, another criticism for the day. So have a good one.